This is?
The final one.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you for doing an interview with
Glad to help.
Mr. Levy. All right, so my first question is, what do you think an incoming freshman should be most aware of here at New Tech?
As opposed to at other schools or any incoming freshmen?
Either or. Which would you rather answer?
Well, I mean, you need to understand that New Tech is a small high school, and things are going to be different than at the other campus or a more typical large high school. You should get used to the fact that most everyone knows everyone else, even in different class levels, So that's something to get used to on a social level. Academic level, I imagine PBL might be a little hard to get adjusted to. I don't really teach PBL, so I wouldn't know specifically, but, so that's something to get used to. I'll leave it at those two things for now.
All right. So my second question is, if a student is having trouble in class, who should they talk to first?
Well, definitely their own teacher. If that doesn't work, perhaps their advisor. If that doesn't work, Mr. Goldman would help. You mean academic trouble?
Well, academic or otherwise.
I'd keep it in that order.
All right. All right, what is the greatest challenge that students seem to face?
Well, it depends on the student, but in general, I would say there's needs to be a little more seriousness about high school, These grades count. Colleges notice them, and it is going to affect your future and all that, So you really got to, I'd say students, the best bet, and something I didn't do in high school as much as I wish I had now, and I'm hoping I can instill this in my own son, is to just, take it really seriously. And when you're given an assignment, you just got to do it, for one thing. And, you got to follow rules and all that stuff, too. So, take it seriously.
All right. So how did you deal with stress while you were in high school?
Boy, that's a good question. I don't know if I had any particular coping strategies, I mean, I just dealt with it. I don't think I did anything specific. I've never really thought about a question like that. I listened to music quite a bit. Still do, but it was a good stress reliever.
All right, so what was your favorite class in high school?
As a student?
Yes.
Probably my junior year English class. Always loved literature, and I loved whatever I read in the different classes, but I wasn't crazy about my teachers my first 2 years. In fact, my third year, first semester, I had a horrible teacher, but my mom and I actually went to the principal about how much we disliked him, and they switched me to another class, and I loved him. He was awesome. And actually, student taught part of the time at the same high school I went to, and that guy was still there many, many years later, and it was great to see him again, and he remembered me and everything, so that was fun. So definitely that one.
All right, so what advantages do you think that New Tech students have from coming over here than going to the main campus?
Well, the technical side of it, I think, is pretty darn important. One-to-one computers for every student in every classroom, that's extraordinary. Of course, they also get to take my classes.
Your class was definitely very, very fun.
Thank you. I'm glad you liked it. I mean, I'm kind of joking about that, but I mean, I also mean it seriously. I wish I had had a class like mine. All those movies and stuff, it's just so cool. I'm very fortunate to teach film, but I hope that students are getting something out of it too, and not just that, but they're learning about what life was like in these different decades and how to think critically and all those things.
Yes, that definitely was very fun.
Good, thanks. So yeah, those things, and I also think we have an outstanding group of teachers here. I'm not just saying that because I work here either. I'm quite honored to be among these colleagues, both socially and professionally. I think we got outstanding teachers and in a pretty relaxed, mellow atmosphere. Everyone always complains, but that's true at every high school.
Yeah.
I feel heartened, is that the word? I'm very happy about alumni who come back, especially ones who complained when they were here and talk about how great it was and how much it helped them for college and how much they liked it and stuff. And I think that's really true. It's kind of like hard to see the forest for the trees, or another metaphor is, does a fish know it's in water? Do you understand? So in other words, like when you're here,
While
you
you're
can't
in the
quite
environment,
see.
You
Yeah.
can't see what good it's doing for you
Exactly
or
right.
what bad it's doing for you.
Exactly
You just see it for, hey, this is my current circumstance.
Exactly. So, yeah. Does that answer the question? I don't remember the question. Go ahead.
All right, so my final question is, what do you think the most important 21st century skill is?
Oh, well, obviously you need to be, really kind of tech savvy and computer literate now in a way that you didn't when I was in high school 5 years ago. And I think that's being imparted now, Ms. Ruggles' classes, I know they're a real challenge. The students complain about them. I think those are skills people are going to be very grateful to have in college and after college. Assuming you guys retain all that stuff.
Trust me, I know that. Honestly, after her class, when I learned to write with code,
Yeah.
Whenever I see code that's messed up on a web page, I'm like, this annoys me.
Oh, cool. Yeah, they should have done this, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's outstanding. So, yeah, leave it at that.
And the final question I have for you is from another student. His question is, on average, how many times do you pause the movies you play?
On average, I wouldn't know. I try not to. It's a lot harder now with these without block periods. But that's not what he means by pause. He means pause and talk, that sort of thing.
Knowing him, probably.
Like in the senior film class, almost never. In the junior classes, I think that kind of pausing at parts of Citizen Kane to point out what Wells was doing
Yes.
is kind of important. Since you have the technology. I wish we had our own movie theater and I could show 35mm prints of all these things, but obviously that's not going to happen. So since we have the technology where you can pause DVDs, which is still how I prefer to show things, I think, given that it's a classroom and not a movie theater, as a film lover, it goes against my grain to stop a movie in the middle. It's like, no, you're supposed to watch it straight through. But as a teacher who wants to kind of point out very specific things,
That we can do in the lesson.
Yeah, that's my hope, So on average, I wouldn't know. More than I like to, but when I think it's appropriate, Angel?
Are you in here for the
Advisory?
Yes.
Well,
technical?
I am one of the people you're supposed to be watching, but the sign-up sheet should be right out there.
Nice. But usually I get one person or no people, so I just want to make sure to start in there.
No problem. Any other questions?
No, thank you very much.
You're welcome. So I'd love to see